Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Justin Raphael, and I'm excited to share my final project results for my forecasting project. This presentation is the culmination of the knowledge and techniques I've gained in CIS 607 applied business forecasting. My project focuses on short-term forecasting of electricity demand and renewable generation, specifically solar and wind. I'll be walking through the motivation behind the study, the data set I used, some exploratory analysis, and the forecasting models that I tested and the results that I have so far. Finally, I'll highlight the next steps that could be used to improve the accuracy and move toward more advanced models. One of the most critical challenges facing modern power systems is balancing supply and demand in real time. Accurate forecasting of electricity demand is the cornerstone of this process, as it allows grid operators to plan for generation, avoid blackouts, and reduce cost. However, as renewable energy sources like solar and wind become a larger portion of the energy mix, forecasting becomes much more complicated. These resources are intermittent and high weather dependent, which introduces volatility. My objective in this project is to explore the short-term forecasting methods that are both accurate and interpretable, so they can be useful for grid operators and practical decision making. The data set that I used was curated from the California Independent System Operator and the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. It spans the years of 2019 to 2021 at a 5-minute frequency, which makes it very detailed and well suited for short-term forecasting. However, to keep the computations manageable and improve clarity, I resampled the data into hourly intervals. The key variables I focused on include system demand in megawatts, photovoltaic generation, wind generation, and temperature as a representative meteorological variable. These features are foundational to understanding how demand interacts with weather and renewable generation patterns. This figure shows the results of a seasonal decomposition of the hourly electricity demand. In the top panel, you can see that the raw demand values, which clearly show repeating cycles. The second panel isolates the trend component, where we can see gradual increases during summer months driven by air conditioning load. The seasonal component highlights the repeating daily cycles that are characteristic of electricity demand, while the residual captures unexplained variability. The residuals are still quite noisy, which suggests that our baseline models are not yet capturing all of the complexity. This provides an opportunity for improvement through the use of exogenous variables like weather or more advanced models like LSTM neural networks. For the initial phase of this project, I chose to implement 3 baseline forecasting approaches. First, a naive persistence model, which simply assumes the next value will be the same as the most recent one. This is often surprisingly strong in short-term forecasting. Second, an exponential smoothing model with daily seasonality, which tries to capture trends in seasonality explicitly. And finally, a 24-hour moving average with smooth fluctuations by averaging across the prior day. To evaluate these models, I focused on the last 30 days of 2021 as a holdout set. This period is particularly challenging due to holiday effects and winter demand patterns, making it a strong test case. The chart that we just looked at was the forecast comparison for the last 7 days. The blue line represented the actual demand. The orange dashed line shows the naive persistence model, and the green dotted line is exponential smoothing, and the red dashed line is the moving average. Interestingly, the naive model tracked actual demand very closely, particularly in capturing peaks and valleys. The exponential smoothing model tended to overshoot demand during peak hours, which inflated errors. Meanwhile, the moving average was too slow to adapt to sharp changes, resulting in overly smooth predictions. This exercise demonstrated that even simple models can sometimes outperform more sophisticated ones when they are misspecific or not carefully tuned. Here we can see the error metrics for the three models. The naive persistence model produced the lowest mean absolute error, root mean square error, and mean absolute percentage error, which was surprising but also intrusive. It shows that complexity without careful tuning does not always yield better results. Moving forward, my next steps will include cleaning anomalies in the renewable energy generation data set, which occasionally produces negative values due to curtailment and measurement error. I also plan to add exogenous regressors such as weather variables and holiday effects, which we know strongly influence demand. Finally, I want to experiment with advanced approaches such as LSTM neural networks, or maybe even some hybrid models that combine statistical and machine learning techniques. These steps will help move from baseline forecasting toward more accurate and robust models. I thank you for your time, and if you have any questions at all, please feel free to drop them in the chat.